have 10 questions from people that have reached out to us, potential customers, people that got on the phone with our sales team, stuff that we've seen on our posts. Our paid ads now have been seen by over 2 million people in total across all platforms. A lot of people write some funky comments, but there's also some pretty useful stuff that I think I can answer and hopefully help some people out. So I'm gonna give myself 90 seconds per question, 15 minutes on the clock. Here we go. First question, talk about the trend of sustainable product making and some of the misconceptions behind it. Morpho MFG is featured on Kickstarter as having green manufacturing capabilities. What does that mean? That's something that I'm definitely conscious about with the environment. I want to be able to produce stuff that's sustainable, right? I think that's something that the human race needs to figure out one way or another. And I think eventually we will. The problem is, the misconception is that it's easy or that it's affordable, right? A lot of people will come to us, see that we're capable of doing environmentally friendly manufacturing, ask us to quote it for them. We'll quote it and they'll be like, on second thought, maybe not, right? Because it's so expensive to do. It really is very expensive. And I think with time, as more tech comes out that makes that an easier route to go, I think that price will drop. But in the meantime, you need to make decisions, right? Profitability or sustainability. Green, saving the environment, or green, profits for the company, right? It really is, you have to choose one or the other. More and more people are making that environmentally conscious decision, but it's still costly, it's still hard. So I think it'll still take some time. Next question. What goes into the factory vetting process? How have your relationships in the PRD, the Pearl River Delta, so Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Dongguan, with suppliers developed over time? So we have different departments, right? When I first started the company, it was pretty easy for me to get ripped off, right? And I did a couple times. Today, one of my best clients, the factory disappeared with 40K US. I covered it, we figured it all out, but that just wouldn't happen anymore, right? I had to rely on gut instinct. I mean, this guy came to the hospital after I had knee surgery and brought me a fruit basket. Like, I thought he was my friend and he disappeared with the money. Now we have an entire supply chain department broken up into purchasing and quality control. And so the purchasing department audits any factory we work with. We have relationships with some factories and we give them a huge percentage of their facilities capacity, the output that they can do. Some even up to 80%. So we have trust, but business is not about trust, right? Trust is great. Handshake arrangement's great. I like that old school approach. I think people should be trustable, and that's something that I work towards with my relationships in business. However, I want to know an audit. I want to know how the company is doing financially. I want to make sure they're not going to go bankrupt. So we make sure all those things before we enter new relationships, and we also make sure to maintain that, to make sure that the relationships are strong and sturdy. Next question. What are the biggest changes, differences that you've seen in crowdfunding over the past 10 years? Yeah, I guess it has been almost 10 years since crowdfunding started becoming a thing. The biggest difference is money and preparation, right? When Kickstarter first launched, you could have, one of my first customers was one of the first 6-figure campaigns, Studio Neat. They raised just over 100 grand. That was unheard of back then. Nobody was raising that kind of money. And the amount of effort that went into those early campaigns compared to the effort that goes into campaigns today is so different, right? Back then, you threw together a video. Studio Neat did a great job, right? And that's probably why they were one of the first 6-figure campaigns, if not the first. But a lot of those early campaigns that raised 100,000, 400,000, the campaigns were shit. Right? They were just super simple videos thrown together, idea. Crowdfunding was so new, people were just buying anything, right? It was such an exciting space. Now, if you want to launch a 6-figure campaign, you need a team, right? You need a marketing expert. You need some partners that have expertise in different fields. You need a really good video. You need to spend some money to launch the campaign, right? It's none of this willy-nilly stuff anymore. You have to really prepare, have a good team, know what you're doing, and then execute properly. Next question. Why rough quoting can be dangerous? You can talk about how there are plenty of companies who will have you upload design files on the web and receive rushed and inaccurate quotes. The biggest thing is, to us, right, obviously I'm biased, the onboarding phase, obviously we charge for that. But to me, that's the most important, right? If you cut corners on the first step and you receive sloppy quotes that are inaccurate, what do you think is going to happen in development, prototyping, production? It's going to be sloppy, right? We don't quote, and I would have huge doubts for anybody that gives you rough quotes or free quotes or ballpark quotes and says that they can stand behind them. That price is probably going to go up, and if it doesn't, you're going to get shoddy quality. You're not going to have a great product. You're not going to have a product that you can build a business on. That process of quoting, you need to break it down to raw materials. You need to figure out how much it's going to cost to process, molds, tooling, how much assembly is, packaging. There's so many variables. It takes a long time to do that properly. Anybody who's not taking the respectful amount of time isn't respecting your business, period. Next question. What is the current state of shipping? There's just not enough. There's too much demand and there's not enough supply. So the price has gone through the roof. Right, you have less people working internationally. This was all kind of spurned by that boat that got stuck in the river, and COVID, obviously, right? Less people working. There were, more strict policies and regulations, so less people were working at the ports. You had boats, and still have boats stuck in the ocean that don't have a place to unload their cargo, and they're just waiting there. So the cost is, I don't even know the exact variable, what the multiple is, but it's a lot of X's how much more expensive it is. We are not a shipping company. We do have a logistics department. We do help, I would say, the large majority of our clients just to facilitate, right? You're not shipping a letter to your grandma, right? You're shipping your business, the products that you made in China, to wherever your location is. It's a complex process that we understand and are happy to take care of for our customers, but just know, right, that's something that never was an afterthought, right? Shipping, logistics always needs to be built into your plan for your business, but now it's crazy, right? You really need to figure that stuff out and make sure if your business is still viable. Next question. How to increase the average order of your e-commerce store using private label products? Okay, so I'm a big believer, and I just saw the next question is about custom products. Make custom products, but supplement those with white label stuff, right? With OEM products. Basically, the factory already has an existing product. You just change your logo, change the packaging, right? Make it your brand. So if you were selling a fitness product, Smart Yoga Mat is a product we developed a long time ago. You develop a Smart Yoga Mat, right? That mat needs a bag, right? Maybe it comes with, or not comes with, but you have a shopping cart add-on for workout bottle, for a shoe bag, right? For, I don't know, I don't do yoga, but you can tell there's a lot of different supplementary products that you can have that you can sell on your website that just increase the average order cost and obviously help your business be more profitable. Next question. Why is developing your own custom product always more profitable in the long run? So a lot of people when they get in, right, you see a drop shipping or, just a private label e-commerce tutorial, some entrepreneur teaching you for a $999 course, right? Those are all bogus. Doing drop shipping, people complain about people are going to copy your idea. Yeah, of course they are, because you don't have an idea. You're taking the factory's product, putting a logo on it, never touching the product, shipping right to your client, right? It's not a really sustainable business. Whereas if you create, innovate, invent your own product, it's a lot easier to sell that and create a brand story and to create a following and some loyalty for your customers. Then when you come out with your next product, you already have loyal following. If you don't do your own unique product, your customers are going to jump around to whatever's hot, right? Whatever's the cool product, whoever's making it that day. You need to build the importance of a community in 2022 in business for entrepreneurs is enormous. And the only way you're going to do that is if you create unique products. Piggybacking on other people's ideas might make you money short term, but long term, it's certainly not a sustainable business. Next question. You need to speak Chinese in order to manufacture in China. Bouillon. I think there's obviously a lot of benefits for me, right? I've done stand-up comedy on Chinese national TV, right? I've been interviewed on Chinese national TV. I have great relationships and go out for drinks, for dinner with our partners, with our suppliers, with my friends. There's obviously benefits, but it's certainly in 2022 not mandatory, right? A combination of translation software, having a translator, bringing an assistant, hiring people here to help. There's so many ways around it. Obviously, it's a big plus, but definitely not mandatory. Next question. This one's kind of similar to one we already tackled. Why is using recycled or eco-friendly materials so difficult? Why isn't everything being manufactured using recycled plastic? Because the costs are higher, right? We give that option to almost all of our customers, right? If you want to use, recycled, sustainable materials, eco-friendly materials will help you. Just know that there's a higher price tag. And if that's not something your business can sustain, how can you have a sustainable business? So I recommend everyone to work towards that. It's not as simple as people think and takes a lot of effort and some serious backing with the dough. Next question, last question. Why do Chinese factories have MOQs? What kind of price breaks can you expect at volume? What sort of products have the lowest MOQs? Okay, well, MOQ is minimum order quantity, right? If you want to make your own product, something unique, right? Create the molds, create the tooling. Doing one is not profitable for anybody. So there's a few reasons. The first is the MOQ is usually a break-even point, right? Where the factory can say, if we do this much and this client never orders again, we at least didn't lose money. That's probably the biggest reason. The second is economies of scale. If you buy one can of Coke from the store, it's going to be more expensive than if you go to Costco and get the family super pack. Same reasoning applies here, right? It's the same logic. The more you buy at the component level, at the raw material level, the cheaper your unit price will be, and then the more profit the factory can make. So I'm a big believer that for any quantity, there's a price, right? They won't tell you that. I really think there's a way to make any amount of things. Just the question is, how much does it cost, right? So that's why one of the things that we built a company on is being able to build the Rolls Royces, the Rolexes of any given niche industry, of any market. The reason we do that is because those types of products cost more, right? Watches, for example. If you build a watch that's a factory price of $850 US, then it's easier to order 50, right? Most MOQs for watches are going to be 100, 200, 300, right? But if your per unit price is higher, if the raw materials, if the components are higher cost, it's easier for you to massage what your MOQ will be. You'll find that factories will be more willing to come down and meet you, and you won't have to pay an exorbitant pricing. All right, that's it. We'll see you next week for another episode of On the Clock. Peace.